Time now, fantasy footballers, to go through the ffchamps.com fantasy football offseason rankings. Hi, everybody. I'm Butch Stearns. Billy Enright is the guru at ffchamps.com. Billy, how are you?
I'm doing great, Butch. How's everything going?
Everything's going great. Talk about these offseason rankings. Why are they so important with so much going on and so long until the season starts?
You know, fantasy football now, it's really, you want to stay on top of it all year long. Even though your drafts aren't in until July or August, maybe even the beginning of September, it's really important that you do your homework, that you study up, and we really help you do that at ffchamps.com, because what we do is we kind of hold your hand through the whole process. You want to know if a player's stock value, his fantasy stock value, is fluctuating, if it's pretty consistent. It shows you who's going to be more volatile, who's going to be more stable, and it helps you give a better idea on how to prepare for your upcoming draft.
So, Billy, let's start with quarterbacks, 1 through 5. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Peyton Manning. What's the logic of this top 5 list, and where's RG3?
Well, I'll start off with the players that we have in the top 5 now. All of them threw for more than 4,200 yards. All of them had more than 30 touchdowns. So right there, that puts them in an elite class all by themselves. Those are the guys that are top performers at the quarterback position. No question about it. The thing with RG3 is he didn't finish the year healthy, and we kind of knew that was going to happen based on how many vicious hits he was taking during the regular season. He tore his ACL in the wild card game against the Seattle Seahawks, the same knee that he tore while he was at college at Baylor. So we're a little concerned this year with RG3. He couldn't end up being a great value pick, but right now we're not confident of him returning at 100% for week 1, so that's why he's out of the top 5.
And now in our off-season rankings at ffchamps.com by position, let's go to the running backs. 1 through 5 with the running backs. Clearly, Adrian Peterson is number 1. Arian Foster, number 2. Marshawn Lynch, number 3. Jamal Charles, number 4. And Doug Martin, number 5. Billy Enright of ffchamps.com. Billy, surprisingly, none of these names in the top 5 for the first time in several years now. Chris Johnson, Maurice Jones-Drew, LaShawn McCoy, and Ray Rice. Surprising?
It is a little bit. But just because they're not inside the top 5, doesn't mean they're still quality number 1 fantasy football running backs. If you think back to the 2012 drafts, it was Arian Foster, Ray Rice, LaShawn McCoy, and then a major cliff, a major cutoff from the rest of the running backs. That is no longer the case. As we enter the 2013, we're really excited about the running backs this year. You just named 4 or 5 guys. We have the top 5 guys. Don't be surprised if 9 straight running backs go in the first round. Running back position, definitely a position of strength this year for 2013.
Time now to talk about the top 5 wide receivers. They are, according to ffchamps.com, Calvin Johnson, A.J. Green, Demaryius Thomas, Brandon Marshall, Julio Jones. Billy, let's talk about this top 5. Again, with receivers, 5 through 15 probably all could make an argument to be at number 5 or 4, but why this top 5?
Absolutely. Receivers is one of the deepest positions in terms of fantasy football. But these guys, they're the elite class. They're the guys that you know you're going to get consistent production each and every week. We love this list. Julio Jones, Dez Bryant was a close debate at the 5 or 6 spot, but we gave the advantage to Julio simply because he stays out of trouble during the offseason.
This is our off-season ffchamps.com fantasy football rankings by position. Time now to look at tight ends. 1 through 5. Rob Gronkowski, injured or not, still number 1 on the list. Jimmy Graham, number 2. Jason Witten, number 3. Aaron Hernandez, number 4. And Dennis Pitta of the world champion Ravens, number 5. Billy, when it comes to tight ends, is it still a top tier of 2 players? Is it still Rob Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham and then the drop-off?
It really is, especially with Tony Gonzalez retiring this year. Otherwise, he would clearly be probably in the top 3 with Gronk and Graham. But after those 2 players, they're so dominant on the field when healthy that there's really no other comparison.
Those are your off-season ffchamps.com fantasy football rankings by position. Football is a year-long sport, especially fantasy-wise, as we keep reminding you. Stay with ffchamps.com. Check out the rankings, because after the combine, after the draft, after free agency, after minicamps start, they're bound to change. ffchamps.com for all your fantasy football needs. you.